if your body is your temple, would you like to worship in yours?
Great title, Jan. Welcome to the next segment of 6 Weeks to Wellness with Jan Fitzpatrick of inVibeHealth.com. So we're talking about the body, and I love that title. But tell me a little bit more about what we're going to talk about today.
Well, if you're nurturing yourself, you also need to take care of your physical body structure. I know I talked a little bit before about how I wanted to improve my posture, and this is really what it's all about, is looking at your body structure. Are you standing the way you want to? Are you walking the way you want to? Many times when we hurt ourselves, we bump our knees, or maybe we have ankle issues. We start to walk differently, start to stand differently. Stress will change things. It tends to make us go in. And then I noticed, I think what really kicked it off for me is my mom is still alive, and she's still probably more active than I am. And I noticed that when you sit in front of a computer, you kind of stick your head out. Well, she's been on the computer for longer than I have, and I noticed that she had a little bend in her body at the end of the lower neck. And I thought, I don't want that. So I started to look at things because now it's much harder to change when you're older, the older you get. So I decided, well, now is the time to achieve that better body structure, because it's only going to get more difficult to maintain it.
Absolutely. Well,
fortunately,
let's break it down into specifics that we'll cover here as we go into this. Okay. So what are we going to cover?
Well, we're going to take a look at which practices will help to achieve and retain good posture. A little bit about the issues of strength and balance as we age, and also a little bit about flexibility in your body and how that feeds into your mind, and the other way around as well.
So there's a lot of mind-body connection going on here in this conversation about the body being your temple. But you're right. So obviously the body is what we move through space and what carries us. And so if we don't take care of it, we're going to have some penalties in life. So let's talk practices. And what do you like to do that impacts posture? And what do you work with your clients on to help with the focus on posture?
Well, the reason I'm focusing on the posture is because there are lots of people and resources to help. And bad posture leads to problems with breathing and balance and a whole lot of other things that tend to be issues as we age. So I would say chiropractic is something that I've been doing since, a long time ago. I'm not even going to tell you how long ago.
Long enough to know better, right?
Yes, yeah, and the value of it over time as well, which is also part of it. Some things help you right away, but over time, it's amazing if you do the same thing every 30 days. There's a day where it just clicks.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, you know what? My shoulders aren't, they feel a little freer, or I'm standing a little straighter. Pilates is awesome for strength, flexibility, balance. There are many different practices in Pilates as well. And yoga. Just plain getting out there and walking and just noticing. I mean, you can also get into rolfing if you want to, which I did at one point, which is
never tried it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And it was very helpful. She actually helped me to learn how to walk again.
Interesting.
And I think for women, if you've had children, you've had your body stretched and moved and rebalanced so many times. Depending on how many, through 9 months, everything was changing.
Right.
And then it's done, and you're supposed to be back where you were. Well, it takes time.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So the point is to explore some of these practices and find what works for you and what clicks for you and what you enjoy. Because I think, as you rightly have pointed out other times we've talked, I mean, we've evolved this world where unless we cultivate movement and physicality, it's unfortunately too easy to sit on our butts all day and not move and suffer the consequences of that over years of inactivity. So
well, we were designed to move.
Yeah, well, no, you know, back in the day, we had to, you know, move for 8 hours just to catch our next meal, right? So now we just have to drive to Wawa and pick up a sandwich or something, right? So
Yes.
that's not what our body was designed for. So, so let's talk a little bit about strength and balance and aging. I mean, how do these things come together or fail to come together?
It's become, I mean, as I watch my mother age and my friends age, I noticed that one of the key things is balance. And to have good balance, you need to have a structure that's in alignment. You need to have strong muscles, and it has to be balanced. You may do a lot of walking, but maybe you have a little bit of a weakness like I do. I don't do a lot of upper body things as much as I do. My legs are very strong. It's the balance of
the balance of balance.
It's just
it is.
You have to ask anybody when they're. I mean, anyone in a nursing home or any of my friends, when the turning point was in their health. A lot of times they'll say it's when I fell.
Right.
And if you have that strength and you have that self-awareness in your body and you know where your body is at all times, you will be less prone to falling. Because interesting study I read. You know, I did some work in nursing homes for a while, and there was a program where they brought in just even really basic instruction in doing some Tai Chi, and that slow movement had a huge reduction in the number of people who fell and had injuries falling just by doing a little bit even. So you imagine the benefits of getting good at it and doing a lot of it. So sure, these kind of slow movements where you're challenging your body's balance, and you know, we all physically live on a bit of that use it or lose it kind of principle. And if you're not challenging the edge of that balance, then of course you may lose the ability to keep your balance. So. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. And what about flexibility? I mean, I know this is something I don't pay enough attention to, and I know I'm learning to pay a little more attention because I've suffered some of the consequences of losing flexibility. But let's talk a little bit about that.
I think that also feeds into the balance thing. I mean, you have strength, obviously, but you also, the flexibility is so important actually in your balance. As you go through life, I don't know about you, but I get tight in certain areas.
Sure.
And then I'm kind of like favoring it, and then I'm thinking more about where I'm hurting rather than where my feet are, and sometimes miss a step. And that's not a good thing.
Absolutely.
But the flexibility helps you to feel, again, we're using the word balance, but at least stretched out, and it just stretching actually takes a lot of the aches and pains away. And they say that a more flexible body, in all ways, leads to a more flexible mind.
Well, I love that you're making that connection, because I mean, it sounds almost like it should just be a metaphor, but it's not just a metaphor. I mean, when you have more fluid movement in your body and more range of motion, I mean, I don't know, I can't give you a scientific explanation, but I know the feeling of it. It does open space in your mind to be more, to shift focus or see things from a different perspective. And maybe it's literal, because when you're doing yoga and you're kind of bent over and looking up, you have a different perspective, so the world looks different, you know. So. Yeah,
that is so true.
So clearly paying attention to your body, I mean, you know, we're joking about your body being a temple, or not joking about it. You know, do you want to worship in yours? Well, maybe you should spend a little time in worship or in tune with your body. So we've talked about a few things here. We've talked about different practices that people can explore and get into to achieve better posture, strength and balance and the connection between those, and then flexibility in terms of how that affects mind, body, strength, balance, all of these things. So lots of good stuff we've covered in this short episode, and you've got lots more to offer people in your program, 6 Weeks to Wellness. So obviously people can get in touch with you at invibehealth.com for that. And you have a little surprise gift for them when they come to invibehealth.com. I know that your book is on Amazon, and where you'd have to actually pay for it. If you come to invibehealth.com, you're giving it away for free, Jan. I mean, so people just need to click on the little image in the upper right-hand corner and get a copy of your book for free and learn more about the 6 Weeks to Wellness program as well. So I'm going to wrap us up here for now on the bodies and temples and worship, and we'll come back with more episodes of 6 Weeks to Wellness real soon. So Jan, I appreciate you taking the time today.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it too, and I look forward to seeing you next time.